everyone, I'm Katrina Johnson from New Sky Consulting, and you're watching the CATS channel, supporting young people with disabilities to live their best and brightest life. So this is really a very exciting time for families and people with disabilities who are leaving school. With the introduction of the NDIS and a whole range of different funding models and arrangements around that give you the opportunity to really choose and be responsible for the choice and decision making about what service is best for you. And with greater choice and control comes greater responsibility. You become more responsible for choosing a service that not only meets your needs, but that also serves your capacity to live a really full and enriched life. You become responsible for sifting through all the services that are on offer, and there's a lot on offer, and making that final decision about which one will best fit and serve you. And the bottom line is that you become ultimately responsible for that decision, whether it be a good or bad choice. Recently, I was faced with a decision about some training. Now, I knew that I was at a stage where I was ready to invest in some training for myself, and I knew what it was that I wanted to develop in terms of skills, what I was looking for. And I knew then that I needed to have a look at what was out there in the market that would best help me get those skills. And then I had to decide, well, which one is actually any good? And I had to make that decision based on what I thought would be best for me and what it was I was looking for in developing. And I had to make do that research, thinking along the lines of, well, I do have an idea about what makes a good training provider. I do know what I'm looking for and the little boxes I need ticked that says, yeah, this is a good training provider. They've got what it takes and they've been doing it. So I had all that at my disposal, but I also knew what made a not so good training provider. So when I was doing my research and thinking about, well, which ones do I go with, I was well equipped with, well, what do they need to be good, and then what am I looking for that kind of indicates that they're really not that good. For you, when you're looking for a post-school support service, you want to be making those investigations and doing your research, and you want to be looking for evidence of what makes a good service. And we talked about that last week. But also, you want to be aware and alert and mindful of, well, I know what I'm looking for a good service, but what am I looking for to see if they're maybe not so good? What evidences am I looking for that? So what are the buyer beware tips when it comes to choosing a post-school service provider? Well, based on what makes a good service, it makes sense then to have that the things that make a not so good service are polar opposite to those things. So let's start there. A not so good service may include things like models of care that are not individual focused or are largely congregate care. Not so good service might be supports that aren't very well planned, don't have a very good focus, and aren't moving towards the future direction. A not so good service might have poor staffing. And poor staffing might look like a really high turnover, not very skilled staff, inconsistency of workers, and just staff that there's no compatibility or no concern for compatibility with the person. A not so good service might lack and might actually put limits on those kind of ordinary everyday life experiences for the person with the disability. And that might include things that are having the person in environments largely that are segregated or quite insular. A not so good service fails to address and resolve any issues and problems that do come up, because we're working with people, and the reality is that these little issues or concerns or problems, they will come up, and it's about how we go about addressing those. Post-school is all about exploration. It's all about growth, becoming a mature adult. It's about developing independence and about exploring who it is you were born to be. So a not so good service would have all those things that hinder that. that hinder a person's exploration of their environment and their world, and hinders their exploration of who they are and who they can become as a person. A not so good service limits a person's exposure and experiences. And in this changing world, as a buyer of services, it's really good to be alert and aware of what is not so good service. Because when you are aware of those things, you kind of know what to look out for, and you kind of know what the red flags are. So buyer beware and keep those things in mind. Ultimately, the decision is up to you. Your list of what makes a good and what makes a not so good service might be completely different, and that's okay, because it's about finding what's the best fit for you. But knowing what you think makes a good and not so good service, that's the key. As the ultimate decision maker, your job is to know your list and do your research. At CATS, we know that this is a really difficult time for families leaving school, the changes that it will mean for the young person, the changes that it will mean for the family, and what supports will look like, because they won't look like school. So we know that this journey can be quite difficult, and that's why we've developed our free ebook, How to Choose a Post-School Service. I've provided the link below. I welcome you and invite you to download that and use that as a guide to getting you started on choosing a post-school service provider. And this will be relevant to you whether you have a package of support or whether you don't, because you may still be looking for supports regardless. Either way, it's a great guide, and it's a great way to figure out what do I need and where do I find it. So thank you for your time. That's it for me for today. I'll be back again next week to talk a little bit further about choosing a post-school service support. Thanks for staying with me, and I'll see you later. Oh, and remember, we all deserve to live our best and our brightest lives. Thank you. Bye.